right, go ahead.
Okay. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Baha Sham, Yahushai, Baha Sham, Ha, Rakha, Godash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, spreading the good news of the gospel, teaching this truth throughout the earth, and who rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing the word to the four corners of the earth in all sincerity and risking their life to do so.
Khan, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Wa abal babal. All right, so we're gonna get Obadiah. All right, and this clip came across my channel on TikTok, and it shows the pride of the so-called white race, the Edomite. All right, here's Nero 47, and he's pretty much insulting the Japanese Prime Minister. All right. Let me play it for you.
To tell his allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran. So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we have to surprise him.
So they're burning bridges on every level. All right? Because these leaders from other countries come in and meet with Nero 47 in the Oval Office to make peace deals. All right? But as you can see, he's burning bridges with his pride. Go ahead, Yuko.
Says Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador who is set among the heathens. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Which happened with the Egyptian president that said they left black and came back white. There was a 6-day war, all right, which the heathen made war with the small hats, all right. But Edom, the so-called white race, is the wicked that ruled the world, all right. And the small hats, Amalekites, the counterfeits in our holy land, all right, they're Edomites also. But now I wanted to get here. It says the Lord in the verse 1 where it says the Lord God. It says the first word, the Lord, is Adonai. And then the word God is for Yahweh. All right. So Adonai or Adonai, my Lord, Lord of men, Lord of God. Lord title spoken in place of Yahweh. It says Adonai, pretty much the name Lord. And then the word God in this verse is Yahweh. All right. So the Lord Yahweh is the one that's pronouncing this judgment through Yahweh Shai, all right, against the Edomites. The Edomites are the so-called white race, the red devil the Bible speaks of. Edom means red, all right? Go ahead, Yuko.
Says Obadiah chapter 1, verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathens, thou art greatly despised.
The Edomites, starting with those Amalekites. They're the newest nation, all right, and they are the smallest people, the minority, which it says what? They are greatly despised, all right? Why? Because of their pride. Let me play this again for you.
And we did. And because of that...
Why didn't you tell his allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
And really, Pearl Harbor was it was allowed by the Edomite Americans. All right, so let me get it on the Google. The Americans allowed Pearl Harbor. It says U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt or other officials knowingly allowed the December 7th, 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor to enter World War II. All right, so that's what is the truth. All right, that they allowed Pearl Harbor because they would have to know that those planes were coming, because you got that humongous ocean that they would have to fly over, and they had radar. All right. Did they have radar during Pearl Harbor? Yes. The U.S. had functional radar at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. See? So they would have had to know beforehand, all right, because they would have seen them coming. All right? And it's a long flight. I flew to Japan from California, and it's literally hours and hours and hours of flying, like the whole day. All right? So they would have had like a whole day of seeing them fly towards, what was it, Hawaii? All right? So it was a setup so that they could enter World War II. So this is what's happening right now. They're going to cause the death of many U.S. soldiers and other nations to cause a World War III. All right? Go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Okay, so that's the pride of the so-called white man, who shall bring me down to the ground. The pride of his heart had deceived him, right? Because they think they're the baddest, all right? It says, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, which this is why they're known as Caucasians. They were the cavemen of Europe, the Neanderthals, and they build these cave structures, all right, in replica of the mountains, like Trump Towers, which they live in these skyscrapers, and they live off the wealth, all right? They rob everyone, lie about it, and murder. All right, it says, whose habitation is high, which they live high on the hog, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's the pride. See, and that's what the people have. That's the pride the people have. Who could take us down? You see, they don't think America could lose World War III. And it's going to. It already lost.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Go ahead.
Obadiah 1, verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh.
So, the Great Seal of America, there's your eagle. They use the eagle to represent themselves, which they did this as Romans and Greeks. All right? The eagle had landed. Goes back to when they claimed they touched the moon. It says, what does the eagle has landed mean? The eagle has landed is a famous phrase spoken by Neil Armstrong, an Edomite, on July 20th, 1969, marking the successful, so-called successful, landing of the Apollo 11 lunar module Eagle on the moon. But we know that that's a lie. All right? But they use that name Eagle to represent themselves. And also they got a Space Force, United States Space Force. So they got a space force. All right. And that's why it says that they set their nest in the stars. Excuse me. All right. And they said they were going to set that woman up over Space Force Commander. Let me see. They said they were going to put a woman up. They have a man right now that is the leader of the Space Force. But I saw an article where they're talking about putting a female in that position. Who commands the Space Force? Right now it's a man, but I saw they were thinking about putting a woman in there. The name of the ranking officer commanding of the U.S. Space Force is General B. Chance, Salt's man. All right, this is him. All right, he commands the Space Force. All right, which it says in that verse. Read that verse again, Yoko.
That would be verse 4.
Yeah.
It says, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh.
Right, so who's bringing him down? Yahweh is. All right, Yahweh is. Go to 7 now.
7, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7 says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
See, so their allies is turning on them. All right, and the Edomite, starting with the elite, which is making this happen at the command of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, they don't understand what's happening. But we understand because we have a sure word of prophecy. America's allies refuse to join in the war. It says here, as of March 2026, multiple U.S. allies, including the UK, France, Germany, which are part of the beast, Japan, and Australia, have refused to join a U.S.-led war against Iran or support military operations in the Strait of Hormuz. See? So they're in trouble. It said it would be like this, all right? That when they were in their full sufficiency, they would be in straits, a difficult place in financial difficulties, all right? Which even Nero said they didn't expect Iran to strike their ally neighbors, which they're really hitting U.S. Assets. These military bases were only there protecting U.S. assets like oil fields that they robbed from the people. They would just come in, murder, and set up the military and own it through the sword. All right? So this is why Iran went through and hit all those military bases in its neighboring allied countries. All right? So once again, as of March 2026, multiple U.S. allies, including the UK, France, Germany, Japan, and Australia, have refused to join a U.S.-led war against Iran or support military operations in the Strait of Hormuz. See? So their allies are turning their back on them. We're literally seeing this prophecy in 7. Read that again, Yoko, verse 7.
Verse 7, okay.
Yeah.
Says, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7, and it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Watch, I'm going to get it in the NLT now. It says, all your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you don't even know about it. Because your pride makes you like a drunkard that don't know what's going on. All right? Esau is drunk on pride, and he's talking shit in front of everybody. And just like that woman, that Japanese woman, she kept smiling, but really in their heart, they're plotting to destroy this whore, this great whore, America, Babylon the Great, with nuclear missiles. All right? Let me play that again.
Why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him.
See? Behind those eyes, they're plotting to destroy the Edomite. They're smiling at you as allies, but they're in the back of their mind, they're like, oh, they don't even know what we got going for them. Because really, it's the Lord that's putting it in their hearts to go against the whore, America, Babylon the Great. All right? NATO, UN, and the BRICS, they're going to become allies and shoot nuclear missiles on America, on Babylon the Great, according to biblical prophecy. Go ahead, Yuko.
Got one here. This is Jeremiah 49, verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Verse
Right?
8.
But she's taking away their wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They back in the day, the Edomites were the smooth operators. Right? Going throughout the world, deceiving them. But now they're getting sloppy, and they're coming out and just showing themselves as that devil the Bible speaks of. All right? Which it's already historical fact that they know that they knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen. They allowed it. And then he, right in front of the Japanese Prime Minister's face, you know, talks about them playing out Pearl Harbor, when in fact it was a setup so America could come in and eventually hit Japan with atomic weapons, which is nuclear power. You see? So what is in the heart of these heathens? They want to strike back against the Edomite. See, that's why even the Chinese, they said they got a missile called 60 warheads that were nuclear, and then one atomic. And they said that one atomic was for the memorial of what they did to Japan. China has that missile. So definitely Japan got something up their sleeve. They didn't forget what they did to them. Remember, they still having birth defects from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're still suffering from the effects of those weapons. All right? And what they did to Japan, that's what they're doing in Iran. They're just blowing up civilian sites. They're not hitting military sites. They're hitting civilian, schoolgirl, you know, what was it? A girl school. They hit it with the Tomahawk missile. All right? And what did America do? They blamed everybody else but taking responsibility. What did they do in Gaza? Same thing. All right? So Esau is losing his mind because he's at the end. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and Nero, he was making they already had contracts prior presidents, for their nuclear
Advancement.
Yeah, and then what happened was Nero tore the contract up. He said, "We're not going to go by this no more," because he wanted something else in place of it.
Which that's a trait of the Edomite. They break their word.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, what we're reading is there any more wisdom in Teman?
Mm-hmm.
Which the German Edomites are supposed to be the smartest, and Trump is a Temanite. He's a German Edomite. All right, so they're supposed to be the smartest, but he's moving like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Making a lot of mistakes. But really, those mistakes are prophesied that they would be in straits in the fullness of their sufficiency. All right? And eventually, their own allies are going to go to war with them. All right? And the citizens, they're so troubled, they're going to rise up against their leaders too. It's prophesied, 2 Ezra 15. There shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him.
Right, which he's going to destroy his cities. He's going to destroy Babylon the Great, and he's going to destroy his military in the Valley of Slaughter, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Yahweh's Mashaphat. All right, he's going to judge the heathens' military, which are going to be gathered over in the Valley of Jehoshaphat to be destroyed when Yahweh Shai returns, and the nuclear missile is going to devour their kingdom, America. All right, go ahead. And that's why it says dig down. What are they? They're in bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. They're building cities under the ground. Why? Because they're trying to run from the Lord. It says when all this is happening, the earth is going to shake, Revelation 6, and they're going to pray for the rocks to fall in on them so they'll die instead of going into slavery. See? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. The time that I will visit him. Verse 9. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough.
Right, but Esau, he don't ever stop. Right? He just keeps fucking you up more and more. Like right now, he's still throwing that Pearl Harbor shit in that lady's face. Right? But once again, it already came out that was a setup on the behalf of the U.S. government so that they could move into World War II, have a reason. Just like Vietnam. In that movie Apocalypse, it shows one of the U.S. Warships. It was like a battleship being sank, them and their men. And that was set up so that the U.S. could go into Vietnam, which was a civil war between those Vietnamese with Laos, which are Vietnamese. All right, it was a civil war. All right, and America destroyed its own property and people, personnel to get involved. All right, 9/11, it already came out, that was used to get involved in a war in the world. All right, now we're in the Third World War, and it's going to be a nuclear ending. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it goes to say, like, Nero, he went down to Venezuela, took that over, and then he kept on, threatening he's going to take.
That, right, remember they said it's over oil, but America makes the most oil in the world. It
Right.
produces the most. So it's not over oil. Let me pull it up. Maduro was saying that the Jewish were not right. Let me pull it up, because that's why they removed him. All right, it wasn't because of oil. All right, it says Maduro. It says Nicolas Maduro has frequently used rhetoric targeting Zionists and international Zionism. So he was talking about the counterfeit Edomite, which claimed to be the Jewish, all right? And that's why he got removed. Just like Kanye West losing all his shit. Why? Because he spoke about the small hats, the counterfeits. All right? And they're the ones drawing America in that war with Iran. All right? Everybody knows, all these media already tell you that Bin Laden this whole time wanted America to strike Iran.
Mm-hmm.
So who's drawing them into this war is the small hats, the counterfeits. All right, and that's why they took down Maduro. Now Greenland, what they're doing is in Greenland, when you understand military strategy, that's a landing zone for them invading America. What you got to understand is when these things are happening over there, there's also going to be war over here. You're going to have foreign troops in America. All right, ravaging all these homes, kicking the door in, doing whatever they want. Look at World War II. What were they doing in Europe? They would just go door to door, go in there, eat your food, stay there a couple days, rape the women. They rape men. I did a sit down on it. These small hat IDFs, they rape men. The ICE, all right, Ice Cubes and Ice Teas in America, they rape men. It's already been documented that men are being molested in these camps by the agents. All right, and this ain't nothing new. Remember, in slavery, they had buck breaking. All right, so the Edomites, the wicked that ruled the world, all right, they're being revealed. That's why they're coming down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. They know why, because the prophets are here. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 10, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
Right, which he's eventually going to be made extinct after 1,000 years of slavery. All right, he's going to be made extinct, and that's after that 1,000 years of slavery. Go ahead.
Going back to Obadiah chapter 1.
Verse 8.
Oh, verse 8, that's right. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 8 reads, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau.
Out of the mount of Esau, which they don't understand. They don't understand what's happening. All right? They're wise to do evil, but they don't know what is happening. All right? They really lost. And that's why they're watching our videos, all right, so that they could get more understanding. Because it says the wicked shall not understand, but the wise shall understand. All right? So the wise men of Edom, Teman, right, the same scientists that built nuclear power, you have Einstein, he was a Temanite. You have Oppenheimer, he was a Temanite. All right, and there was other scientists from Teman, the Germans, that were brought to America to work on nuclear power. You see? After World War II, there was some that went to Russia. All right? And they devised what? Nuclear power. It was inventions of men, but it was given to them by demonic spirits on the left-hand side of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai for Judgment Day. All right? It's going to fall on their own head. What's it say? It says, God is not mocked. All right? What you sow, you shall reap. So that's what they've done. What have they done? They weaponized everything. And they've used these weapons on these people, like the Japanese. What did they do to the Japanese in World War II? What did they do to the Koreans in Korean War? What did they do to the Vietnamese? What did they do to all these people throughout the world? They went in there and murdered and raped and robbed and lied. And the ones that you've done it that means the most is to the Israelites. All right? Because we're the apple of the Lord's eye. And you touched us, and you should have never touched us. All right? Go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Right, and that's what you're seeing. These soldiers of Esau are afraid. They're terrified. Right? They're openly rebelling against their leading members of government, terrified of what's going to happen. Why? Because they're being told, hey, this is Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
Nero 47 is anointed to lead this war to the returning of the Lord. Though they call on a false Lord, they're telling them that the Lord is coming back and that it's coming back. He's coming back at the end of this war, which is going to be a nuclear war. World War III is going to end with nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great. Why? It's not hard to see. Look at all these countries that they've fucked with. They all want some of America. Look at the UN meetings. How many times did they go in there, and the only two countries that were voting against food being a human right on earth was America and the small hats in Israel. So the whole world knows you're the devil. All right? And they're itching just to destroy you. The Lord is going to put it in their hearts to use their militaries to destroy you. All right? Go ahead, Yuko.
Con. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 10 reads, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
So that's the Lord avenging us. That's Revelation 18 and 20. It says, Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for all power Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. So this is the nuclear destruction, which is going to eat the flesh of America, the sea of people, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon, a.k.a. America, the great whore, be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. So that's how it's going to happen. All right? It's going to be a violent ending. Okay, go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 11, In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates. And
Right, which they were with the Babylonians when they came in on us. You can read about the Edomites being involved in Judith. All right, when she cut off the head of Holofernes, the Edomites were operating under the Babylonians as part of their military, which went against the Israelites. And when they burned down Jerusalem and the temple, the Edomites had part in the destruction of our city, which they're supposed to be our twin brothers. See, so they're in the spirit of Cain that killed Abel. Esau was their forefather, and he was the reincarnation of Cain. That's why he didn't have no skin color. He lacked melanin, that was what the Lord put on Cain. That's why he was afraid. He said, everywhere I go, they're going to want to put me to death, because he was the only one not to have color. You see, while everybody else, the whole world had color, had melanin, Esau didn't. So he was like strange to the world, and they would have wanted to destroy him. And that's even natural in animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, animals are put to death for being albinos. Let me see. Animals that are albinos in the animal kingdom are rejected. Look, it says albino animals in the wild often face rejection, abandonment, or social exclusion by their herd or species, largely because their distinct white coloring disrupts camouflaging, making them easy prey and causing them to be viewed as inferior. See, so to be a so-called white man is inferior to being a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American Indian. See, it tells you right there. Those are not my words. They're telling you right there. If you lack the skin color, right, it makes you inferior. So why do you think these so-called Caucasians are in the freaking tanning beds, right? Why do you think they buy melanin so that they could become, go from that inferior look of weakness? Because really they look weak. The so-called white race, there's really no strength in them. All right, and that's why you get a lot of these Edomites in positions of power, and they abuse the power because they're not courageous, strong, bold men. They're wicked, weak, and feeble. All right, and they use their power to do evil. All right, go ahead, Yuko.
Says his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them.
Right, which they helped the Babylonians take us into captivity. Then eventually, when we were allowed to go back to that land, the southern kingdom, you had the Greeks and then the Romans rise up against our people, which eventually, 70 AD, they destroyed our city and temple, and the Israelites fled to West Africa, to Asia, to Europe, all right, to escape the Edomite. All right, you had Knights Templar originally start with Israelites that were fleeing from Jerusalem, and they went into France. You see, and they would have been so-called black men, all right, for the most part, but you already had a knowledge of confusion of face back then. All right, that the Israelites look like the other nations because we've been scattered amongst them, and we have taken the women of those races and had children with them. Far back, Joseph with Ephraim and Manasseh, their mother was an Egyptian woman. The Israelites themselves, all right, they came out of heathen women. All right, but Jacob was their father because he had 4 women that he had the 12 tribes, the forefathers of the 12 tribes with. All right, go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children, the sons of Judah, in the day of their destruction.
Which they enjoy that we're in our low state. And what they do, they enslaved them and brought them over on slave ships to America. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The northern kingdom was already here, but what happened with them? You had the Edomites invade this land under lies and false doctrines and murder the natives, which were Israelites, the so-called Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians that were here. North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. All right? You had the Edomites come over and take this land by the sword, and then you had them put Judah, Benjamin, and Levi on slave ships and bring them here and enslave them here in this land that you stole with the sword from their brother, the northern kingdom. See? Go ahead, you go.
Obadiah 1, carrying on, verse 12. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
Right, what are they doing right now? They're talking real proud against us. Right? Oh, I just saw, remember they were saying that they were putting those containers with people in the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
They just came across one of those containers full of shoes. And look what shoes they are. They're kids' shoes. See, it's one of those metal containers. And it's at the bottom of the ocean. See? And it says a strange pile of shoes on the seafloor bed, which is in a container from a shipping container led to a broken shipping container. See, so they followed the shoes to the container. So there's probably people in there, and they were put to death somehow. See, whether it's in the drowning and their bodies were ate, or whether it was they were tortured to death under Esau's draconian laws. You see? So that's just showing you that the so-called white race, they're the red devil the Bible speaks of. All right? And they're supposed to be good to us, but instead they're evil to us. They're the wicked. All right? They put abortion clinics in our neighborhoods. They poison our food, our water, our air. All right? Oh, let me show you. Here right now where we're at, look at the water that is coming out of the... look at that. It's like, it's all bubbly like acid. You see? And you got to shower in that. See? And you could get the water from outside, the drinking water. But this water is still going on the dishes, right? You still use it. See? Because you have no other option. But who's doing that? The Edomite, the so-called white race. The wicked that rule the world. Look, you can see the bubbling inside the water. That's water, but it's bubbling like Alka-Seltzer. You see? But that's why the Lord has to protect us. Because really, we would already be dead. Because they're doing this without telling you. Right? And they actually had a bill to fix the water, because they said there's lead and other things in the waters. But the Nero 47 striked it down with all his executive orders. See? Because really, they don't want us to live. They want to depopulate. That's what these wars are for. All right? Look up D-Day. World War II D-Day. All right? World War II D-Day. And that's what you're about to see in Iran. You're about to see a D-Day where they send all kinds of troops to die because it's to depopulate. All right? Go ahead.
I got one here. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 5. NLT, it reads, "And when my sword has finished its work in the heavens, it will fall upon Edom, the nation I have marked for destruction."
Right. They're marked. That's why they do what they do. They're marked for destruction. They're not supposed to be doing good. Right? They're supposed to be doing evil. That's what is good about us being Israelites, because we're supposed to be the ones doing good. They're the wicked, and they're supposed to be doing wickedly, which they are. Right? Once again, they're poisoning the food. They're murdering with their draconian laws. They're stirring up wars with their allies around the world. All right? Why? Because they're the sword. They're the wicked. All right? So we're supposed to be the righteous, which it says, put on therefore as the elect. All right? Stand with faith, confidence. All right? Unmovable faith. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 34, verse 6, NLT, "The sword of the Lord Yahweh is drenched with blood and covered with fat, with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of rams prepared for sacrifice. Yes, the Lord Yahweh will offer a sacrifice in the city of Bozrah. He will make a mighty slaughter in Edom."
In Edom, which is America. Basra was the capital of Edom's kingdom, and that's America today. All right? And the sword, what he's talking about is fat. The fat is the men and women and children that are in America. The sword, they're sharpening it right now. That's why they're doing these war games, preparing for the final battle between Yahushua and the angels against the devil and his angels, which is the military of the so-called white race, which is the red devil the Bible speaks of. They're sharpening the sword, and it's going to be a nuclear weapon, and it's going to destroy their kingdom. And the fat, once again, of those animals are the people, the citizens. All right? Go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
Which, what did they do? They took over our land. Who's in our land? The Edomite, the counterfeit. All right? Look up Titus Arch. That's a memorial to the Roman Titus, which his father was Vespasian, all right, a Roman emperor, and they destroyed Jerusalem and stole the golden vessels, just like Nebuchadnezzar did in his time. You see? And the Romans did this. The Greeks did it. All right? So the Edomites, this is what they do. That's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to run into your home and slaughter you. See, they did it in the past. Hey, when Yahushua was on the scene and they heard the prophecy being fulfilled that Yahushua was being born, and all those wealthy Israelite men that were coming from the land of Babylon, all right, like Job. Job was a wealthy Israelite in the land of Babylon. He was a righteous Israelite in the land of ancient Babylon. See, and those men, they came to visit Yahushua when he was born, and it wasn't no few men like they show you in these counterfeit nativity scenes. It was an army of supreme rich men, Israelite men, that were waiting to see the Messiah. They believed in the Messiah because there was always a prophecy of the Messiah coming. See? So when Herod seen this, it put fear in him because you have an army of wealthy Israelite men wanting to see this baby being born. They're saying is a king, the king of kings. So, and Herod didn't want to lose his kingship. So what did he do? He put out the order, go through and kill all the young babies 2 years old and down. Right? The male children. Just like Moses, when he was in Egypt, they threw the 2-year-old down into the alligators. See, why? Because they were afraid of Moses. They were afraid of Yahushua. They're afraid right now. That's why they're going to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. All right, go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1, going into that verse there. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
So what are they trying to do? They're not just trying to talk down on us, but they're touching our substance. You're not allowed to live no more. You can't have a job that supports you. You're going to have to go to taking a chip. Hey, see that the massaging. See? But it's true. They're gonna make you want. They're gonna want to make you take a microchip, the mark of the beast, by making it mandatory through the draconian law, executive orders. All right, and they're gonna deceive you by making everything lack, like famine. All right, there's gonna be a famine. All right, of food, water, of the word of the Lord. You're not gonna be able to watch us on the YouTube like you are now. All right, so that's why the Lord is going to avenge us. He's going to destroy their kingdom and avenge us. That's why we rejoice. When you see these things happening to their kingdom, it's for us and in vengeance for what they're doing to us. When you see them going through shit, it's because they're plotting on us. We were put here for a purpose, for his purpose, for his people. You see? So you can't just wipe us away, put us under the jail so easily. The Lord, he makes moves for us to protect us. He has angels that encamp around us so that we could do this work. Otherwise, Esau would just murder us easily. It's nothing for him to murder someone. He does it every day. In fact, it says he can't even rest unless he's done something wicked. You see? What did Hillary say? We came, we saw, he died. See, so it ain't nothing for them to murder us for telling the truth. But it's that the Lord don't let them. Do you understand? The Lord don't let them murder us. We tread over serpents and scorpions by the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right? Go ahead.
Con. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 14. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
Right? Which they slaughtered our people. They did it with the Babylonians. They did it. Oh, when we came out of Egypt, they didn't want to let us go through their land. You see? So they've always had bad blood with us. Though our bloodline went back to the same father, Isaac, and the mother, Rebekah, the Lord separated us in the womb. 2 different nations. All right? Esau, the father of the Edomites, the so-called white race, the wicked that rule the world today, and then Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, the father of the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which are in captivity today, subject to payment. All right, which you can look up, Babylonian Magic. I shared it. That professor, the Chinese Beijing professor, explaining how America is operating under Babylonian money magic. All right, so this is just a reincarnation of Egypt, Babylon, Rome all over again. And we're in captivity under these heathens, starting with the so-called white race. But the other nations, like the Ammonites, the Japanese, and the Chinese, they got money on our slavery. They're the ones that have the bonds for this place. See? So that's how they're confederate with the Edomites being over us, which they're going to fall with the Edomites. It says, them that help and hoping. They're going to fall together. And Lucifer falls in 1 day and 1 hour. It ain't nothing for the Lord. Go ahead.
Con. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15. For the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathens, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head.
So you're going to go into slavery. The Japanese, the Edomites, the Japanese are the Ammonites, the Chinese, the Moabites, the Ishmaelites, which you call the so-called Arabs, the Persians, which are the Iranians, the Pakistanians, the East Indians. Those are the Persians. All right, which you got Japheth, people mixed in with them. All right, because those were the Medes in the past. And then you had the Medes and the Persians ruling together in Babylon. So all these nations that had us in slavery and are still helping in having us in slavery today, they're going into slavery. All right, go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathens drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been.
See? So it says in that word drink, it's satah, and it says of drinking cup of God's wrath, of slaughter, of wicked deeds. See, so there's coming a day you're going to get judged for what you've done. Against who? Yahweh's people, including Yahushai, his son. You crucified him on a Roman cross in the first leg of the Roman Empire. Remember, it was wounded by a sword but did live, being that America was the reincarnation of Rome with the European Union, the beast system. You see? And so what are they doing now? They're trying to murder the prophets. They're trying to make war with Yahushai in his return. See? Go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1 verse 17 reads, But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
See, so we're gonna own the heathen that have us now. We're gonna own them. And in one day, in 1 hour, things are gonna change. Now it's not gonna happen just that fast, where we come down and start ruling. Things take time, and time's gonna slow down for us. All right, and it says a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years. See, so they say the next the next blood moon is 3 years away. You see, so we could actually be saved soon, and then by the time the crowning ceremony is done, and the heathen will start to see blood moon signs that we're coming back. And then we would come out of the chariot, New Jerusalem, and we'd eventually get these heathen and put them in chains. You see? It says they're going to slither out of the rocks like worms because they're going to suffer a great judgment. America's going to be destroyed by 200 million nuclear warheads, and it's going to shake the earth. That's why the elite are building bunkers. All right? If they had all the power, who are you running from? Right? If you're so powerful, America, why are you building bunkers? Who are you running from? You're running from Yahweh's son, Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken it.
Right? So go to Ezekiel 35.
Ezekiel 35.
And 1.
Okay. Ezekiel. Where is it? 35. This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1 reads, Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it.
So Mount Seir represents Edom. All right? And it says prophesy against it. Tell them the future of what's coming. And we're their slaves, so if we're saved and given power to have the heathen that oppressed us as our slaves, what is their future? Slavery. So that's why they're upset about hearing what we're saying. We're telling them they have to pay for everything they've done unto us. Do you know what they've done to us? Are doing to us? Which they intend to do to us? And that's what the elect are going to receive. We're going to get them and put them in slavery. The ones that survive the judgment of the great whore, which the Lord's going to avenge us on this place. And the heathen that survive outside of America, they're going to be in chains. They're going to be our slaves, the first to go into slavery. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 3, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
Most desolate is going to be a desert. America is going to become a lake of fire. It's going to smoke for a long time and then eventually be a desert. Nothing, desolate. All right? Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh.
Right? Because why? Because the prophets are here telling you what Yahweh is going to do. Go ahead.
Ezekiel 35, verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children, sons of Israel.
See, and let me show you real quick. This is ancient Mount Seir, where the Edomites live. It's still there. You could visit it. So what you just read about is talking about America's judgment. See? This place is still existing. All right? Mount Seir. This is literally Mount Seir. All right? Petra. It still exists. So the prophecies of the Lord laying Edom cities desolate is talking about America. All right? Go ahead.
Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Right, which they should let us go right now. We're remembering ourselves. We're repenting. We're praying to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. They should already let us go, but instead, they see us waking up, and what do they want to do? They want to murder us. See? So they're not upright. They're wicked. See? They should just move aside and give us the throne. But instead, what are they doing? They want to go to war with us. They want to murder us in our sleep. They want to mistreat our families and abuse us.
Mm-hmm.
See, so the Lord is going to shorten the days for the elect's sake, and He's going to avenge us. He's going to burn these people with nuclear fire. That's why the nuclear missile was given to them. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Which they eat blood and they spill blood. They've been spilling blood since the beginning of time. They're murderers since the beginning. Cain killed Abel, spilled his blood. Right? They eat blood. You're not supposed to eat blood. See, so, and they eat human blood. Remember, it came out. They eat the babies.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So, and the Lord is going to destroy them because of all that wickedness that they've done. They don't have a future like the rest of the nations. Israel will live forever. The heathen will die, but they'll serve us. They'll be tributaries to us. And it says the people rejoice when the righteous rule. So they have a promising future after that brutal slavery, except for Edom. Edom has no future. He's literally condemned. All right? He's a condemned people.
He's cursed.
Cursed. He's a cursed people. Mm-hmm. Rejected. All right?
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth.
Which I just showed you. You could visit it right now. There's still tours going on over there. Mm-hmm. It's not talking about that ancient Mount Seir, which all that's going to crumble in the earthquake. Mm-hmm. But it's talking about America. Mm-hmm. America is the new kingdom of the Edomite. It's Basra. All right? And he's going to destroy this city, this great city, just like he destroyed Pharaoh and his army by plaguing them. All right? And that's what's happening right now. Plagues upon plagues upon plagues. I showed you one of the plagues. Fire. Live fire map. Look, this is from Colorado. Front line. This is a live map. And you can zoom out and see the whole country. But watch, the whole place is on fire. This whole place is being plagued. All right? Look at this. This is America. Look at that. It's red. It's red. You see it? Look at that. It's literally entirely on fire. By what? A bunch of little fires. Right here where we're at, there's a bunch of fires. See? And you zoom in, and it's a bunch of little fires. See? Look, Colorado right here. Colorado. Right, this is the state we're in, Colorado. And there's fires all throughout this area. You see? And really, if you look out into the whole world's on fire. And it was prophesied that when Yahushua would return, all right, there's a fire sent out on Edom and the rest of these heathen. Look at that. That's the map of the world. This is the U.S. and South America, and then you got the rest of the countries. All right, look. all on fire. There's fires all over. See? And fire is a spirit of vengeance. So there's already plagues on this earth. All right? Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 8. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword.
Which they're going to be slain by a great sword, nuclear weapon. Go to Psalm 61.
Psalms
Let me see, 61.
61, verse 1.
No, 63.
Psalm 62.
Nope, that's not it either. Hold on.
Psalm, where's that? 62, verse 1.
No, hold on. Let's see, 63. Might be Isaiah 60, 61. No, it's Isaiah 63.
Isaiah 63.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. You said 63.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 1.
Yep.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 63, verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength.
It's Yahweh Shai, just so you know. Go ahead.
In his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
But she's the Savior, Yahweh Shai. All right? And it's not that he's literally going to be dipped in blood, but it's because so many people are going to die at his return. All right? That's why it's literally going to be like if he was to tread in people in a wine press.
Mm-hmm.
Blood just everywhere. All right? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 63, verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
Let me grab this real quick. Revelation 19 and verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh, which the scriptures tell you of why Yahweh Shai is going to slaughter all these people, starting with the Edomites, all right, to avenge his Israelites. And it says the slaughtering is going to be many. That's why it gives you the saying that his garment, if he was doing it by hand, he would be covered in blood. But he's going to hit him with a laser beam, and they're going to be dust and smoke. Or the nuclear missiles are going to devour the flesh of America. See? So the Lord's not going to get bloody. It's just telling you that so many people are going to die. And where do you learn about it? It's in the scripture. It tells you in the scripture these things. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 63, verse 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment.
Right. So the doctrine is a lot of people are going to die. All right. Because the remnant represents the righteousness of the saints, which is the fulfillment of the scripture. Yahweh Shai is coming to judge the world. So he's going to be righteous in judging. And it says he's faithful and true. In what? Fulfilling the command of Yahweh. That's the reputation of Yahweh Shai. That's why it says the host of heaven comes in white garments. What it means is what they're doing is righteous judgment. It's not wicked that they're coming and slaughtering all these people. It's righteous.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 63, verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come.
Mm-hmm. So that word fury in the verse that you just read, 3, all right, it says that he's going to pour out his fury. I looked that word up, and it goes into his pretty much like a boiling anger. It says heat, rage. The word there is hima. It says heat, rage, hot, displeasure, indignation. Who does he have indignation for? The Edomite. It says anger, wrath, which we're part of that because we're telling you, we're preparing you for your judgment. That's how you're being prepared, is by us putting the salt out, and we're telling you about your future. All right? It says venom, poison. See? So it's like us breathing out venom or poison, and this is why the Edomite is becoming uncomfortable, and he wants to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. You see? It says, let's see. It says, I wanted to get that wrath, because there is an actual part about the wrath, bowls of wrath. And it explains that the Israelite men were those bowls of wrath that are being poured out. We're telling you the judgments. And when Yahweh Shai comes back, he's going to fulfill these judgments. All right? It says wrath, intense, often uncontrollable rage, fury, or deep indignation, a deep hatred, frequently accompanied by a desire for vengeance. See, so it's literally us and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai communicating to the Israelite the truth. But while we are here on earth in mortal flesh, we're vexed. And our spirit testifies to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahushai is our mediator, all right, the author of our faith and finisher of our faith. And the Holy Spirit prays for us. It says it utters things that we couldn't even really utter in English. All right? So the Holy Spirit puts a spirit on us, a spirit of desire, that tawah, it make you exempt from judgment, because you don't want to be a part of this place. It makes you mad, you know, to have to deal with these Edomites, to have to, seeing the women always naked, right? Everywhere you go, you got to fucking, these proud ass, vain women, right? And all they got is their sex organs, and they don't realize that once they're used, they're done. The prize is in them being new. Right? That's what the man wants, is a fresh, new vessel. See? Now, the thing the women don't realize is when they get older, when they're in a committed relationship with a man, all right, that man being righteous towards them, all right, they have honor. But when they're old maids, right, there's no honor in them. What did you do with your life? Your whole purpose, you missed the whole fucking purpose. You know, and that's what's celebrated right now. These old single ladies that never was married, never had children, just lived a self-loving, them loving themselves, right? Narcissistic life. See, and that's not what the Lord created for women. All right, he created an order, and that's what Esau's messing up. He's messing up the pecking order of things. And that's why Yahweh Shai is coming back to put it back in order. All right, which he's going to put us on top. And what are we going to enforce? The laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We're going to tell you, starting with King David, we're going to tell you the laws. The heathen, we're going to tell them the laws. And if they break them laws, they're going to be punished as the laws command. Like adultery. You know, a woman go out on her husband, she's to be put to death. A man sleep with another man's wife, they're to be put to death. Unless the woman cried and fought, then there is no reason to put her to death. All right, there's laws on all these aspects of life that Esau is not enforcing. That's why the world is wicked. All right, that's why you have spring break and you have all these women out there having one-night stands with different men. Shit, some of those women are sleeping with multiple men in one night. Shit, you got men sleeping with men over there in that spring break. A lot of those men are fruits, you know, effeminate men. So Esau promotes wickedness. He don't promote righteousness, you know. And Jake is caught up in it. These 2/3. That's why you got to die. It's the end of the world, and you're over here trying to get in on spring break. You're still trying to commit that worldly sin. See, you're connected to the flesh. You're not connected to the spirit. Because if you were vibing in the spirit, you'd understand what time it is. There ain't no time to be out there at spring break. What happened at spring break? They shot it up. Had you all running looking stupid. And then what happened? You got plagued with these flight shutdowns. And it's a digital shutdown. It's not like they just shut it down. The computer system shut down, and all those planes operate off of what? Computers. So really, it's the Lord doing it to you. But what does Jake do? They don't want to accept the correction. They despise the reproof. See, and that's why the Lord is very angry. It says it represents extreme anger, often used to describe divine retribution or violent, epic scale emotional responses. See, so we're telling you the prophecies, Yahweh Shai is going to fulfill them. The word is Yahweh's. Go ahead.
Go on. Says Isaiah chapter 63, verse 5, and I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore, my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me.
See? So Yahweh Shai is the one bringing the salvation, and the fury upheld him, which is what? Let's get that word fury. Fury. Hema. See, indignation, displeasure, burning anger. The same word we just went in. You see? So that word, that verse there, that was verse 5. I'm going to get it in the NLT. It says, I am amazed to see that no one intervened to help the oppressed. Which that's what the heathen are. They're not helping us. They're oppressing us with the Edomite. They're not fighting for us. They're funding this shit. All right? It says, so I myself stepped in to save them. Who did? Yahweh's son, Yahweh Shai. With my strong arm, Yahweh Shai. And with, it says, and with my strong arm and my wrath sustained me. See? Let's go to that word sustain or held. In the KJV it says held, upheld me, which is samat. It says support, lean, rest upon, which is what? The Israelites. Because it also means what? To revive. Who's he reviving? The elect. See, so we're out here prophesying the fury of the Lord, the wrath of the Lord, and it's reviving the Israelites. This is why Esau is going to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. All right? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 63, verse 6. And I will tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury. And I will bring down their strength to the earth.
But she's going to make them slaves. All right? Go to Revelation 21.
Revelation. Let's see here.
So he's going to bring their straight down to the earth. He's going to, as they say, put them back in the Stone Age. Right? Where they don't have technology no more. And we're going to get them and put them in slavery. All right? And we're going to build a kingdom on their backs. The heathen. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea.
Right, because the sea of people in America were melted. And then the first heaven is the ruling, all right? Which who's ruling right now? The Edomites. So after this judgment, who's going to be ruling? The Israelites. The new earth is what? They're going to be in slavery. You just read it in Isaiah 63. When Yahweh Shai comes back, he's going to cast them to the earth. They're going to be the new slaves on earth. All right? Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from power out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Which is the elect, and we're going to be changed. But we've been preparing, washing ourselves by this word, all right? Being made ready to meet our Maker. Go ahead.
Revelation 21, verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of power is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and power himself shall be with them and be their power.
See, and that's why we have the power to prophesy. Yahweh is with us through Yahweh Shai. And he's given us the power to prophesy. But it's going to lead to us receiving salvation and the authority to rule over our oppressors. All right? Go to verse Malachi 4.
Malachi 4.
In verse 1.
Malachi 4. Let's see here. Yeah. Malachi 4, verse 1. The book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1 reads, For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubbled, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Right, so the stubble, all right, let's pull that up. So stubble would... Images, that's stubble, all right, like little branches. And you know that faggot, that's what that word means, a bundle of sticks that are gonna be burned. See, so that's what the people are. They're gonna be the fuel for the fire. All right, and this stuff burns hot. Stubble, it burns hot and fast. Purpose of stubble wood for fire.
Leftovers after harvest. It's used to remove waste, control weeds and fungal diseases, creating a
So anyways, it says stubble burning is a agricultural method used to quickly and cheaply clear fields of leftover crop residues like straw from rice and wheat. After harvest, it is designed to remove waste, combat weeds and fungal pathogens, and create a clean, accessible seedbed for the next planting. See? So that's what the Lord's doing. He's getting these heathen and these reprobate Israelites that are in America, and he's going to burn them up. All right? And he's going to do it to clear the way for the Israelites to rule. All right? Go ahead.
Malachi chapter 4, verse 2, But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And
which it already happened through us getting the Comforter, but now it's leading us, grace is leading us to what? Salvation. Who brings salvation? Yahweh Shai, at the commandment of Yahweh. We just read it. All right, go ahead.
And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall.
Which we're going to get salvation, and we're going to inherit the earth, and we're going to inherit the heathen, and we're going to be so happy. All right? We're going to be so happy. That's why it says you're going to be leaping like cows, like little bulls let out into the pasture. Leaping with joy because the Lord saved us, and he's going to give us the world, and we're going to inherit it. and we're going to multiply. Go ahead.
Malachi chapter 4 verse 3, and ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts.
See, so we're to remember the Lord in this time when he's doing this judgment of plaguing the world. Go ahead.
It says, Malachi chapter 4 verse 4, remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments.
Which is repentance, to remember yourself, and to begin worshiping Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Go ahead.
Malachi 4 verse 5, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord Yahweh.
Which Yahweh is going to send his son Yahushai, and he already sent Elijah, which was Abba Bivens in 1969 in Harlem, where he began to preach in the streets. All right? And after him came other men, so multiple generations. King Masha, which was over One West, and out of One West came the apostles that ruled Great Millstone well today and taught us the truth. All right? So we're at the very end of this. All right? Go ahead.
Malachi chapter 4 verse 6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children's sons, and the heart of the children's sons to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Which that curse is the chariot. He's going to send the chariot. Right here it says in verse Zechariah 5 verse 1, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, which is a so-called UFO, a chariot of heaven. Verse 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, because Yahushua is coming back on a chariot. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, the so-called white race, their kingdom, which is Basra, Mount Seir, Rome, all right? It has different names, but it's America. It says, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. Which, where did Christianity come out of? America. You see, and they pushed it throughout the world and sweared falsely. Look what they're doing with the war. They're saying that the war is a religious war. So they're swearing to be Christians, and they're falsely swearing it. All right? It says, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. See? So what's going to happen at the end? Esau's kingdom is going to burn. They're going to go into slavery with the rest of the heathen under the Israelites, but then they're going to be made extinct. All right? Got one?
Yeah, I got this one. It's Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 58 reads, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and their high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folks in the fire, and they shall be weary.
Right? Which right now they're laboring in vain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like in Rome, remember, Rome fell. All right? So all their effort was in vain because it all fell. So what's right now, all this that they're doing right now, like these soldiers that are going to die in the so-called Middle East, West Asia really, they're going to die in vain. You see? The only benefit is that they're going to fulfill prophecy, but otherwise than that, they're in vain, you know? Their whole existence is in vain. All right, but the only purpose that they exist is to fulfill the prophecy. And hey, at least them and not us, you know? Because we're hoping for salvation. We want to be saved when Yahweh Shai returns. All right? That
Just one, yes, Obadiah chapter 1. I don't know if we got this one yet, but it's verse 18.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's see here. I'm at 12. Says, one more. Says, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. And, what the heck? Obadiah verse 1. The one that does that. Say, let's see here. 15. Couple more. Says Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18, and it reads in the KJV, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it.
See, so at the end of their slavery, they're going to be made extinct. Not one will remain. So with that, we give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Aha, Rakak, Quadash. Double honors to our apostle elders, which ruled great millstone well, and which taught us the truth. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Wa Abba Babal.
Shalom to the elect.